It joins us live from Denver, Alicia.
Hi, Greta. Yes, critics of Colorado's new mail-in ballot system say this midterm election could be ripe for fraud. Colorado already had one of the highest voter turnout rates in the country before the democratically controlled legislature changed the law last year. Now, Colorado joins Oregon and Washington in sending every registered voter a ballot in the mail. The director of elections for Denver County tells Fox News when the ballots were mailed out the second week of October, they did a lot to verify the integrity of the voting rolls. Now, anti-fraud advocates like the Rocky Mountain Foundation are worried there could not only be fraud, but undue influence. A spokeswoman tells us that could come in the form of unions, churches, or employers asking folks to bring in their ballots and fill them out together. Equally troubling is something called ballot harvesting. Anyone in Colorado can collect ballots from up to 10 other people and turn them in without any oversight. The El Paso County Clerk, Wayne Williams, tells Fox News, quote, Colorado has no effective way of determining whether an individual has collected more than 10 ballots at the present time. Williams also says he's received reports of ballots being sent to the wrong places. Folks who've never lived at the address because their information was sent in from a voter registration drive. Just one example. Also new this year, same-day registration without a photo ID. Now, Greta, voters can still go to the polling station on Election Day and vote, but they have to bring in that unused mail-in ballot to turn it in order to vote, so they can't forget it at home. Greta.
Alicia, thank you. And former Federal Elections Committee Commissioner Hans von Spakovsky has this grim predicament. He says one thing is almost certain. Voter fraud will occur. Former FEC Commissioner Hans von Spakovsky joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Greta.
Am I right, quoting you said that there's, there's a high likelihood, I forgot, almost certain of voter fraud?
Oh, yeah. And in fact, you were talking about the undecideds deciding close elections. It actually may be illegal votes, particularly, for example, from people who are not U.S. citizens.
Well, the thing that strikes me is that what Alicia Cunha just said, what I've never even heard of before, this ballot harvesting, where I get to, if I were a Colorado voter, I'd get to go in, I'd grab 10 ballots and say, look, I'll bring them to my 10 best friends down the street. And there's apparently, I don't know, maybe there's some rules, like you've got to name the person, I don't know what, but the idea of handing 10 ballots without much oversight is rather unusual.
Well, yeah. And look, absentee ballots are the tools of choice of ballot thieves. And look, we just had an undercover video, as you know, released by James O'Keefe, in which he went into some of the progressive groups there, including Greenpeace, and said, hey, I've got access to all these unused mail-in ballots. Should I go ahead and vote them? And these groups said, oh, yeah, you should do that. So they were encouraging and condoning voter fraud.
You know what? For the life of me, I don't understand why we can't get this straight. I mean, every 2-4 years, the rest of the world must look at us and think we're sort of goofy on this ballot counting because we have so many crises. And you can go to Dubai and stick your bank card in and get $100 out of the ATM that's properly recorded, but we can't seem to get it right. We have such it's unbelievable. Every state has different rules.
Well, yeah, but look, part of the problem here is that the states have been trying, actually, to improve the integrity of their election process by putting in things like voter ID and proof of citizenship when you register to vote, but they've been fought at every turn by the Holder Justice Department. I mean, they've been basically fighting a war on election integrity, both Eric Holder and other groups like the NAACP.
So are you saying it's Holder's fault?
Yeah, Holder has sued state after state, trying to stop their improvements to election integrity. He also, by the way, over the past 6 years, has refused to enforce a federal law that requires states to maintain the accuracy of their voter registration rolls.
Commissioner, thank you. Nice to see you, sir.
Thank you.
And up next.